Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me for Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. I'm your host, Dr. Angela Butch-Chester. You guys know what I like to do on my show. Say it with me. I want to enlighten, inspire, and empower you to become your best self. Now, Scripture reminds us that the tongue is a small thing that makes grand speeches, but a tiny spark can set a great forest on fire. And that's what we want to do again today. We want to get you on fire for my guest. I'll be spending time with Dr. Anthony McMaryion today, and we're going to be talking about his book, Show Me How to Love Again. So you know what I'm going to tell you to do? Go on, get comfy, get cozy, get your coffee or get your tea, because we are about to get started. Hello, Dr. Anthony. Thank you so much for joining me here on Daily Spark with Dr. Angela.
How are you doing, Dr. Angela?
I am so glad that you are here. Now, I cannot wait to pick your brain about your book, but, you know, we do have a little bit of a tradition around here, and that is we like to give every guest an opportunity to tell us a little bit about themselves. We realize there may be some listeners, Dr. Anthony, that are unfamiliar with you or your work. So first question for you is, what makes you you? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a motivational speaker, a playwright. I also have children mission schools in Africa, India, and Pakistan. I have a community service ministry where we provide products, goods, and services. I also have a prison ministry where we help those who are getting out of prison start their life all over again.
Oh, I love it. That is so awesome. Now, being an author, is that something that you've always wanted to do, or did you find that this is another resource that you're able to make available to the population so that they're still able to not only gather facts but learn from you along the way?
So writing and being an author is always something that has always been in me. I started out early writing poetry, won several poetry contests, and writing is just always something I've been passionate about.
I find that many of the authors that I speak with, they didn't necessarily know that they would become writers of perhaps not only just one book, but of several books, but they've always had a passion for writing in general. So, wow, I guess that is a glimpse into someone's potential future there. I love it. Now, the title of this book, Show Me How to Love Again. Dr. Anthony, did you find that the title came to you first? Did it develop out of your writings? Tell us the story there.
When I sat down to write a book, actually I was writing another book when God prompted me to write this particular book. And it's a personal journey, a personal story, how God showed me how to love again. And it was such a very amazing moment in my life. And so that's how I arrived at writing this particular book.
Now, when it actually came to the sitting down and kind of getting pen to paper or to start typing on your laptop, did you find that there was any particular nudge there? Many of the authors I've spoken with have said that there was a prompting or a nudge, like a knowing that, yes, today is the day that we start writing. Did you have any such experience like that?
Oh, yes, I did. I think every writer, every author has that happen to them. I normally don't write anything that I don't feel prompted or led to write. And so for this particular book, it was so strong. And it was amazing how God gave me the title. And once I got it, I just knew that this was the book I had to write.
I'm finding that to be true, that it isn't happenstance that authors determine that, yeah, today's the day that I'm going to write. I love that is something that most have in common. Now, I have a tendency to believe that when an author writes the book and presents it to the world, that they've done it in a way that they feel best takes the reader along on the journey. And what I mean by that is that there's section 1 or chapter 1, chapter 2 and the like. When it comes to reading your book, is there a best way to really understand what you're presenting to us? Should we start with page 1, or can we just open the book and start anywhere?
I would you can I would suggest that you start at my introduction, because the introduction that I write in the book introduces you, the reader, to the storyline, and basically everything kind of catapults from that perspective.
Hmm. Now, I try to ask this question the same way of all of my guests, and that is, would you say that your book is appropriate for someone as young as high school, or should they be more like college age or a little bit older? Do they need more life experience to be able to follow along?
No, my book is written for reader of any age. In fact, that has been the thing that's happened the most, is I run across young readers who are interested in relationship, marriage, love, how to do it right, how to get it right, things to look forward to. And it's just been amazing to have young readers. I've had readers as young as 12 years old are reading this particular book.
Now, here's where I'm going to give my disclaimer, and my listeners know what I'm going to say. If you want to know how the story ends, you gotta buy the book. Now, with that being said, I do want to ask you, can you tell us a little bit about the book? Of course, without giving it all away. We do want people to go out and purchase a copy. But can you tell us what is the main draw about your book? What is the storyline about?
The storyline is this: that it doesn't matter whether you have been divorced, you're still married, or you just in a relationship, or you're not in a traditional relationship. It doesn't matter. God will show you and teach you how to love again. And this is the whole source for writing the book, is to give people a godly perspective on relationship, marriage, and love, and to be able to see how God sees relationship and marriage and love through his eyes.
Oh, I love that. And that is the perfect segue for my next question, which was, what is the perspective of which you're writing? I know for some authors, they're writing because they have lived through an experience and they're sharing from a very personal perspective. Others are writing because they themselves are professors or, lovers of academia, and they're sharing their knowledge base. What would you say is the perspective for you? What voice should we hear as we're reading the book?
You will hear in the book, reading the book, my personal journey with God teaching me and showing me how to love again. You will read how God views relationship, marriage, and love, and how you would discover how it's so different from the way that we interpret it. God has blessed me with the ability to write from two perspectives. I write from the inside, looking out at relationship, marriage, and love, and then I write from the outside, looking in at relationship, marriage, and love. So when the reader reading my book, they'll get both perspectives.
And I like that you are giving those three different perspectives. But to make sure everyone is on the same page, when they pick up a copy of your book, uh, we can have an understanding of what family is. For some folks, family is mom, dad, and the kids, or maybe it's mom and grandmother, or it's just you and the dog. How should we understand those familiar relationship groupings of marriage, love, family? Does that matter? Do we need to be on the same page with that, or can everyone, no matter where they are, relating to those topics, they can still follow along with your book?
Oh, definitely. They can definitely follow along. I write about having the right relationship with God, having the right relationship with yourself, having the right relationship with others. Those are the perspectives I really draw from. So it doesn't matter whether the reader, where the reader is, they will be able to follow, learn something, walk away with something that's going to benefit and be a blessing to their journey into relationship, marriage, or love.
No, as a pastoral counselor, I see people, unfortunately, that are dealing with heartbreak many times, be it that it is in their current relationship, heartbreak from a past relationship, or them trying to figure out how to become closer to God due to um, a hurtful relationship many times from a fellow church member or some type of faith relationship. With that being said, how do you address learning to love again in your book? Of course, don't give it all away. We do want to leave something for them to follow up with. But how do you help the reader move from where they are to where you believe they ultimately could be?
We start by helping the reader see themselves, understand themselves, understanding their relationship, marriage and love, journey, history. And then we dig into how God has been instrumental in everybody's relationship, marriage, and life journey. He's always been there. He was there when we didn't know he was there, and he was there even when we didn't want him to be there. But the book will help any person who has any type of relationship, marriage, or love, hurt, pain, or brokenness. It will help.
I love that. That it doesn't matter where you are, you're able to understand and utilize what you're sharing in the book. And I think that's really going to help open the door for someone that says, "Oh, okay, this might even make a really great gift," because it doesn't matter where we are along the love spectrum, if you will. It's available for everyone. I love it. I love it. Well, Dr. Anthony, it is just about time for us to take a break. But before we do, can you remind everyone, please, what is the title of this book? How can we pick up a copy? And of course, if someone wants to reach out to you, what's the best way to do that?
You can find my book on Amazon or wherever books are sold. You can reach me for those who want to contact me, you can reach me at www.arthurmcmaryion.com. That's my website address.
Alrighty, everyone. Now you know where you can get a copy of the book. We'll be back right after this. And we are back. Thank you so much for joining me for Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. I'm your host, Dr. Angela Chester. I am spending time today with Dr. Anthony McMaryion, and we're talking about his book, Show Me How to Love Again. Dr. Anthony, let me ask this of you. What do you want for our listeners to really know about your book, just in case they missed the first half of our conversation? What do you want them to really take away having read your book?
I want every reader to know that it does not matter what you have been through when it comes to relationship, marriage, or love. God is always there, and he's waiting to show each and every person how to love again. He's there to not only teach you, but show you how to love again.
And I'm so happy that you are reminding people, especially in a time such as this, that we do need to love again. When we when we watch the goings on in the world, it just seems like for so many people that love, that element of love, really seems to be lacking or missing, and then we really need to get back to that place where we are our brother's keeper or we are our sister's keeper, and we're operating from a place of love. I'm so glad that you are talking about this now. Now, there may be someone out there that says, I hear that you're talking about, marriage and love and relationships and family and all of that, but I'm in a different headspace. Perhaps this person is divorced, or their spouse may have unfortunately passed away. Is your book for them as well? Are they able to utilize the resource of your book?
Yes, and believe it or not, that happens to be two of the biggest audiences because I share with my own personal journey with going through divorce and all the thoughts and the feelings that come with that. I talk about what it's like to lose a spouse and to have those feelings of hopelessness and not wanting to do it again. And it was in those moments, those type of moments, that God stepped in and he said to me, I will show you how to love again. I will teach you how to love again. And that audience has really been big because not only the readers are able to read it, but I share my own testimony, my own journey with it.
You are so right. That is such a vulnerable place to be. I think that for so many folks, when their friend's spouse passes away, there's a certain amount of empathy that you have towards that person. No one ever wants to have a loved one pass away, and I think it's easy for people to understand how that person may be feeling in that moment. But I find that it's a little more difficult when someone gets divorced. Their friends aren't sure. Should I be happy for you? Should I be sad for you? What's the proper emotional response there? So I'm glad that you did address that. Now, Dr. Anthony, do you find that in the research that you've done, has society changed their view about people that are divorced? Does it still hold a particular stigma, or do you think that it is a little bit more accepted in modern time?
Yes, the perspective is still the same. We probably as a society really haven't evolved in those areas like we should have. So being able to sit down and share and write something like this uh, and have it to be so relatable to so many different people have been the biggest blessing in my life. We have to evolve past things, and sometimes that's the most difficult thing to know how to do is to get past where you are, get past hurt, pain, brokenness, get past disappointments and discouragements. But I learned that even in my own journey, that when I came to those places and points in my life, that God was always there. And he was always showing me something, teaching me something. And it really, really helped me. And I know that for every reader, it doesn't matter where you are. I guarantee you God would do just what he did for me. He's there.
I cannot agree with you more. I find that so many times people rush. They're too quick to try to hurry to the next relationship without taking the time to allow God to really place in their heart that thing that they need to work on. They're afraid of what people will think about them, what people will say about them. But if they're on the arm of another person, then it's like, oh, they must be okay. They must, they feel validated in some way, shape, or form. But yet the thing that caused the heartbreak may actually still be there. And I love that you are saying that God is there for us, that God is present for us, and it's okay to deal with whatever you need to deal with as an individual, and just allow us to um, see that God is loving us through those moments. I think that is so important there. And perhaps, I'm viewing that through the lens of course, being a counselor. It's like, yes, slow down, take your time, let God work on you so that you'll be healthy for the next person. But I'm so glad that you addressed that as well. Now, in your research and of course in your own personal relationships, what have you found to be some of the successful habits or traits or attributes of those that are in successful relationships, in successful marriages, or have found success in love?
What I will tell everybody, what I've discovered is the ones that are successful understand the principle of keeping God in the center of your relationship, your marriage, your love, and keeping everybody else out. That, for most people, is where most people struggle the most and they have the hardest time. Because when a person gets into a relationship or get married or love somebody, the first thing that we all want to do is share it and tell everybody about it. But what we don't understand is not everybody is going to be happy for us. Not everybody is going to throw a party and celebrate because we have found something that even maybe they don't have themselves. But the most important thing, you have to keep God in the center. If you keep God in the center, and the way I like to be able to share this is this: if you own a Ford vehicle, you can't take that Ford vehicle to a Audi or to a Mercedes-Benz dealership and get that car repaired. They won't know how to. The same applies to relationship, marriage, and love. When a relationship, marriage, or love breaks down, you have to take that back to the creator of it, who is God. He created marriage, relationship, and love. He created it. So he knows everything about it. And if we keep him in the center and allow him to be the power source, allow him to be the repairman for it, then we will come out in the right place. And our relationship and our marriage and our love will evolve, and it will flourish and prosper, and we will have good success.
Oh, I love that answer. Thank you so much for that. And you are so right there. I am the owner of a foreign car, and I remember I needed to have an oil change done, and I took it to just a local place, nationally known, but a local place, because my usual usual mechanic dealership wasn't able to do it that same day. And when I saw them taking my seats out of my car because they said something was wrong with my fuel pump or fuel injectors or something, I did not understand, and I was so confused in that moment, thinking, I do know enough to know that the oil pan is under the hood, not in my back seat. They had no idea what had happened. They had inadvertently tapped something or touched something that was a switch of sort that had pretty much told the car not to start. And because they didn't know that they had bumped this switch, I had to have my car towed back to the regular place so that mechanic could fix it. Needless to say, I was so disappointed in what was going on. Instead of them saying, we're sorry, we only work on American-made cars, they tried to do something that they weren't equipped, ready to handle. And it is so true when you say the story of using that example of, if you have a Ford, don't take it to the Mercedes dealership, because that's not their forte. It's not what they do. That is so absolutely true. And what a great example of trying to understand, when you're not a balanced person, how the relationship is not going to work out. Allow God to work on you. Take it back to the original creator. That is so powerful. and so moving. I am so glad that you said that. I hope that the listeners picked up that nugget of wisdom, because that is true for the car and for what God can do in our lives. I love that. Now, are there any particular principles that you have incorporated into the book that you really want to make sure that the reader picks up on? Are there any nuggets that you've placed along the way that it's like, if it's really important that you see this particular nugget when I'm talking about this particular subject?
Yes. And it's one the one I just mentioned. The biggest thing is you have to keep God in the center. You have to let God be the power source for your relationship, your marriage, your love. He has to be the power source. If you want it to work the way it's supposed to work. Anytime that we allow other people and their influences to be the power source or the resource for when we have a relationship, marriage, or love breakdown, that's when things really doesn't work. Keep God in the center. He knows everything there is to know about relationship, marriage, love. He knows everything about everyone's individual relationship, marriage, and love journey, history, experiences. He knows it all. And I would rather take that person who knows that and keep them in the center and keep everybody else out. Because everybody doesn't know about relationship, marriage, and love in the way that God does. We have ideas, we have thoughts, we all have different experiences, we all have different things that go on. But God does not have a history or a journey or experiences. He knows. Keep God in the center. Keep everybody else out. When there's a breakdown in your relationship, marriage, and love, go back to the creator of it, and that's God. Listen to him. Let him give you instruction. Let him give you guidance and direction, because I can guarantee you what he will tell you is accurate.
Oh, that is such great advice. Yes, stop listening to others when we have access directly to God about anything that troubles us. That is so true, so true. Now, my last question for you, Dr. Anthony, is what makes your book different? We know that there's always that person listening that's like, yeah, there's 1,000 books. There's 1,000,000 books written about the subject. So for that person who's a little bit of a naysayer, what is your answer to this question? What makes your book different than some of the other books that are available out there?
When you read my book, what you won't find in my book or in anything that I write is things that you hear every day. You won't hear the everyday cliches or innuendos or anything. You won't find or read any of that in my book, because I understand that those things doesn't work. I've tried them for myself. They don't work. But when God showed me how to love again, when he showed me what love, marriage, and relationship look through his eyes, man, I came out with a whole different perspective. So in my book, like I said earlier, I write from two perspectives, from the outside looking in and from the inside looking out. God allows me to have those two different views. And so when you read my book, what you write, what I write in this book, you won't hear it anywhere else. I guarantee you, you won't.
I love it. I love it. Well, Dr. Anthony, thank you so much for spending time with me here today on Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. I have enjoyed my conversation with you. Now, before I let you leave, though, can you remind everyone one last time, what is the title of this book? Where can we get a copy? And if someone wants to reach out to you, what's the best way to do that?
Yes. The name of my book is Show Me How to Love Again. You can find it on Amazon or wherever books are sold. You can reach me personally at www.authormcmaryion.com.
Thank you again, Dr. Anthony, for being a guest here on Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. And thank you, listeners, for spending time with us here today as well. You could have been anywhere, but you chose to spend it with me, and I thank you for doing so. As always, may the Lord continue to shine his face upon you. May you receive his grace and his mercy in all that you do. Until next time, everyone, remember that you are blessed in the Lord. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.